Well, good afternoon. I'm really excited to be here. I've actually been wanting to visit the city for some time. I was doing some research on Montreal just recently, and while the city is known for its arts and culture, I ran across an interesting article that was published in the Montreal Gazette, and it talked about sharing a very similar affinity that Montreal has, that Google has, and that is around AI, where the statement was that Montreal wants to become the Silicon Valley of AI. That's pretty cool for a guy that's from Silicon Valley. I think that's a pretty cool initiative. So really excited to be here, and thank you for the opportunity to open this up and launch the data center today. So I'm going to spend a couple minutes. I'm going to talk about Google and our charter and vision around cloud, and then hand it off to some really key speakers. Before I do so, I just want to recognize an individual is in the room. I want to say hi to Brian Stevens, our CTO of Google Cloud, sitting in the front row here. So if you get a moment and you got a good question technically, pull them aside. So Google, Google was born as a data company. If you've used Google Maps to navigate or Waze to find the most efficient manner to get to wherever you're trying to go, or if it's Google Assistant that's pinging you and saying, hey, you need to leave now because the traffic's really bad to make your flight on time, our job as a company is really to surface those trillions of facts at the right time. In fact, our mission as a company is to organize the world's information, make it universally accessible and useful, right? And so we've been doing this for about 17 years, and we've done it at a pretty crazy scale. And what we've realized through this process is that it's not only Google and our differentiation, it's we believe that every company will become a data company. And over the last 10 years, every company's collected hordes of data. And the new technologies that we're all starting to use, things like Internet of Things, are spinning up massive amounts of data too. And so you as an organization need to get your arms wrapped around your data set. And we believe that companies will win and lose based on data. It'll be you will make strategies based on how fast you can mine that data for the right insight. You will serve your customers internally or externally better if you have that right data. And so it's not going to be the big companies beating the small companies over time. We actually think it's going to be the fast companies beating the slow companies. And data is really the fundamental principle in that variable equation. Now the challenge here is that you've been collecting all of this data, but all of those secret ingredients in your organization lie behind a really messy thing called unstructured data, right? And you could spend thousands of dollars and lots of queries to find those right insights in your data, but you're going to find that you're effectively always a step behind. And so we've recognized this, and over the last decade, thousands of engineers have come together, many of them from Google, to really start looking at how can we develop machine learning techniques to help here. And the beauty of machines is it can take what a human does but do it at a clip that's 1,000 times faster, machine speed, so to speak. And it just unleashes so many net new opportunities. And that's that affinity that we talked about earlier. So the challenge therein, though, is, well, to do machine learning, you need a ton of infrastructure to do it well and fast. And that's something that we think we can help with. Over the last 3 years, Google's invested $30 billion into our capital infrastructure, our CapEx for infrastructure. Any given day, we're a top 5 server manufacturer in the world. In fact, in the 5 minutes that I've been talking to you, we've deployed over 100 servers internally. And so our concept is put our customers on the same platform that we run 1 billion user applications on, and not only put them on the same infrastructure, but give them the same tool sets that we use internally. Right? And so that's what we're doing today. It's really exciting to launch a data center here that will leverage some of that capacity and some of that technology. It's very rare that I get to be the first one to publicly display new stats. This was just cleared by our investor relations, and so this is the first time that any of these stats are being shared publicly. We keep our stats about the business and size and growth pretty close to the chest, so I'm pretty excited to share this with you. Over the last 12 months, we've seen hypergrowth in this business unit. We're very excited. You've all seen the industry reviews about how big this space could be, and thus the investment that I just reviewed. But we're also seeing the return now from our customers, where we've seen our compute triple over the last 12 months, our big data usage quadruple over the last 12 months, and containers 9x. So we're very excited, and we thank you for the business that we're seeing in this business unit. So I get asked and pulled aside, hey, Chris, net out and tell me what makes Google Cloud different than the other public clouds. So I think I'm going to distill it down to 4 things. Actually, there's arguably a 5th here. The first, we believe in an open environment. We believe in open sourcing as much as possible. We fundamentally do not want to lock our customers in. The world has existed for a long time in enterprise software where it's been proprietary lock-in. We want to give our customers choice. In fact, the special technologies that we've built over the last 17 years to run our business, and we're unleashing through this platform, we're also trying to open source as much of that as possible. We think we can run it better than anyone else, and you will have to give us that, you'll have to be the determining factor there. But we also don't ever want you to feel like you're painted into a corner and have to use it. So we have a really strong commitment to open source. So things like Kubernetes and TensorFlow and others are great examples. That actually leads into the next one, which is around intelligence. Our differentiation here is significant when it comes to machine learning. We look at how can we leverage machine learning to surface that information, to make intelligence out of the data faster than anywhere. And we're seeing great strides here where we've built our own custom hardware that processes 8 times faster than the latest and greatest GPUs. For example, I've got my Pixel Buds that I'm going to be leveraging later. I am not bilingual. I speak English very poorly. And so as the rest of these presentations go and we go between French and English, I'll be putting these on and listening, and it will be translating real time. And what's fascinating is it wasn't very long ago where you would say, bonjour, and it would be, hello. And now it's, bonjour, hello. And so it's really cool to see how fast this innovation is coming along. The third pillar here is around collaboration. Under Google Cloud umbrella is our G Suite set of applications. This is one of those 1 billion user applications. And fundamentally, to the topic of innovation, we think collaboration is core. So take G Suite coupled with Chrome, and you get a very different collaboration experience in your organization, which will drive innovation. And then the fourth, I'm going to couple it with what I call the 5th, secure and reliable. So for the 2nd year in a row, Cloud Harmony, who's owned by Gartner, came out with their statistics on reliability, and Google has shown as the #1 most reliable cloud for 2 years running. We're very proud of this. The second portion of that equation is security. We've got 1,000 engineers dedicated to the topic of security. If you think about Spectre, Meltdown, Heartbleed, these were all found by Google engineers. They were found, they were patched, they were delivered before the public even knew about them, right? So we take that same level of innovation that we put on the intelligence and ML, and we actually apply it to the security. If you think about our business and our market cap, that same infrastructure you're using, we're using for those 1 billion user products that customers have given us their personal information on. We have to stay secure. And I would argue that if you don't have a secure and reliable cloud, then all of that other cool stuff doesn't really matter, right? So it's core and fundamentally. And so with that topic, I'm going to hand it off actually to Maya, who is a security expert here at Google. In fact, she's written several white papers about security at rest and in transit for Google. And she's going to double click into some of the security things we're doing in Google Cloud. But before I go, I just want to say thanks again for allowing us the opportunity to be here this evening and joining us this evening. I'm super excited to press that big button to launch the data center in just a little bit. Thanks, everyone.